Before the creation of the Imperium of Man, humanity suffered through an era known as the Age of Strife. During this time, there was no unity between mankind, not even within our own solar system. Each planet was responsible for their own survival, and while the majority of these planets were ruled over by techno-barbarian warlords or powerful malevolent psykers, there was one planet that was able to cast off the rule of these terrible overlords and exist in relative peace, the planet of Uranus. The people of the seventh planet unified their void citadels into a crescent fortress around their world, and together they were able to flourish as a community of artisans and space scavengers. This small human empire became known as the Azurite stations of Uranus, named after the blue inner surfaces of their void citadels. Together, the Azurites were able to fend off pirates and marauders that normally harass the outer planets of the Sol system. And with that said, I want to welcome you guys back to another 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and today we're going to be talking about the Azurite stations of Uranus. If you guys are new to the channel, we post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day, so if you guys have any questions about the 40K universe, or if you guys have any suggestions, just comment down in the comment section below, and I'll get to them tomorrow, or in the next 40 Facts video. And if you like this type of content, hit the like button. That lets us know that we should focus more on these types of videos, and it also tells YouTube that you want more 40K content. So with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Azurite stations of Uranus. Despite their independence, the Azurites greeted the Emperor's convoy courteously, and they agreed to kneel before the Imperial authority. The newly compliant Azurites were turned to fueling the ever-hungry machines of the Great Crusade. Significant numbers of their civilizations were inducted into the crews of the expanding fleets, and their unique technology began to flow into the hands of the Great Crusade forces. But soon the Azurites would face their doom at the hands of an ancient enemy in the form of the Solar Pirates. They were remnants of a confederation of renegades comprising of vile mutants, witches, and abominations that had risen to power during the Age of Strife. Scornful of the Imperium and fearing its might, they circled the newborn realm like jackals at the edge of the firelight. As the bulk of the Emperor's forces were sucked into the spiraling wars of Neptune's moons, the pirate clan's hunger finally overcame their prudence. The Azurite stations were set upon by the Solar Pirates, and their station's defenses were torn apart. The Azurites screamed into the void, calling on their new masters to help them. Though focused elsewhere, the Imperium was not deaf to the war cries of these pirates that hungered for their newly claimed domains. In answer to the cries of the Azurites, it sent the Imperial Fist Legion. When they arrived, a squadron of heavily gunned system crafts pushed its way through the sphere of pirate ships and launched assault crafts into the beleaguered station. 50 Imperial fists disgorged into the battlefield passages of the Void Station and quickly broke the first wave of pirates. Within an hour, they had reconfigured the station's defenses and broke 3 more pirate assaults. The pirates, sensing defeat, cut their losses and ran back into the dark to lick their wounds. However, they didn't flee without one final parting act of spite. In a last suicidal attack, a ship broke through the Imperial lines and fired 3 boarding torpedoes at the station. But one did make it through, and inside this boarding torpedo was a man with no eyes, fingers, or ears. He spoke one word: silence. Only then did the Azurites realize that he had released an ancient psi plague. It was known as the Screaming. It was thought to be eradicated during the Unification War since the Emperor's rise to power. As this plague gripped the Azurite stations, the 50 Imperial Fists knew that they stood alone against a threat which could wound the Great Crusade itself. As one, they deafened themselves, and having reduced their world to silence, they fought their way through the maddened waves of infected Azurites. They could not allow the Psi Plague to escape the confines of the Void Station. All it would take is one person to scream in a vox and someone else to hear it beyond the station, and the screaming would spread. The 50 Imperial Fist ordered their warships to withdraw. They renewed their oath and went to meet their deaths. Setting the reactors to overload, the handful of remaining legionnaires transmitted one final message. They told the Imperium of what they had done and why. 1 solar hour later, the reactor detonated. Within hours of receiving the last message from the Azurite stations, fleets of ships and forces from the newly expanded Space Marine Legion were sent to hunt down the pirates. A solar month later, all that existed of the Solar Pirates were gutted wrecks and corpses floating in the airless night. The Screaming was never visited on mankind again. And it is said that when the Emperor heard of the sacrifice of the Imperial Fists, he ordered the newly raised Bell of Lost Souls in the Imperial Palace to toll for its first time. And that's the lore to the ancient empire of the Azurites. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
refuse to put my freedom first in any situation.